Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I am Stacey Earlywine. I forgot where the mute button was at.
Oh, shoot. That's okay. It didn't hurt anything.
It's no, you just get a little echo. But hey, An echo's good. Double our voices.
That's right.
Well, that's like kind of what I'm going with.
Yeah, double us. So, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
How are you?
Well, I'm windblown most of the days.
Yeah.
What the heck?
It's windy.
All that wind. It's
Spring is blowing in at a high rate of wind.
Well, I was glad that we needed some rain. I don't know what day this is going. Beth is the smart one of this organization. Mm-hmm. So Beth knows when everything's airing. I have no clue.
You heard her. I'm the smart one. Just kidding.
So I was like, I don't know, but I was like, well, that's going to bring my flowers out. My flowers are my hostas now.
Really?
Are just barely coming through with this rain. If
exciting.
it gets warm today, like I think it's supposed to be in the 60s, those babies are going to go up. But I was really excited yesterday. We went and picked up the kids from school, or from Jack, and we had JoJo with us. And last year, I bought that house next door to me. We do that Airbnb. Well, we bought it off of Dale Nicholson. Well, Dale Nicholson had some plants there, but they were like ginormous and right by the steps where somebody steps on them. So I told Jim, I said, hey, I don't know why I didn't do it. Who knows? But I said,
Jim would do it for you.
Yeah, that's right. I said, I need you to dig up those two ginormous hostas, and I want you to move them over to here. He's like, how do I do that? I said, just cut around, deep, pick it up, dig a hole that big, dump it in there. It's super easy breezy. They're huge.
Oh, really?
I'm like, when he did that and he put those hostas back in there, everything was just laying over. I'm like, they're never gonna, so you know what's gonna happen. The two hostas that Jim replanted are gonna be the greatest thing that grows in all of my yard, and all my stuff is gonna be like, mwah, mwah.
And he's gonna hold that over you.
He totally will.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
my tulips are coming. We got back to the house, and of course I've got Jack. He's like, Yaya, your hostas, Yaya, your flowers are.
That's good that he knows what they are.
He loves all that stuff. The chicks and hens, he loves that stuff. And but we. He went over there, and my tulips he's like, and he literally said, Yaya, your tulips are getting ready to bloom.
Oh.
And I'm like, he's a sharp little cookie.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yep, he's a smart kid.
He's a smart little kid. JoJo seems like she's going to follow, but JoJo's a girl. Wow, girls are.
They're a little bit more dramatic.
A little bit. See, I'm not a girl.
You never had a girl.
No.
Yeah.
I had my niece Lexi, but I didn't have to raise her. I only had Lexi when she was cute. Then I sent her home to her mother. But yeah, they scream. Yeah, they scream.
Yeah, they're loud. I always said Malia was like the loudest child in the world. She was so
she loud?
Oh, she was so loud. She did everything loudly.
Was she a drama queen? Did she just scream?
No, I don't think either one of my girls were super dramatic, but
yeah.
She definitely, if she got hurt or upset and she cried, she had a really high-pitched scream.
I think that's what it is, too, because, of course, the first thing you do is go, Jack, take your hands off your sister.
And then they would always wake up crying. I never understood that emotion because I don't remember doing that when I was a kid. Maybe I was too young, but it's like, even if they went to bed or took a nap or whatever, they were really happy, they always woke up crying. Like they were spooked or scared or something. And
I wake up crying because I don't want to get up. But I'm also 56.
Right.
That's the thing. When I have their naps, both my grandchildren, when they take naps, when they get up from their naps, they're like, they're super pumped.
Ready to go.
JoJo's just bright-eyed and ready to go. And,
Not my kids. They always woke up crying.
Well, and now, Mac and Paige have this weird, because I sleep with a sound machine. My grandchildren sleep with sound machines. It sounds like a jet plane's getting ready to take off. And, but it's like they also turn red and green. So for Jack, if he kind of wakes up, because he's not he requires little sleep just like his father. Mac didn't sleep through the night till he was over 3 years old.
Oh, my gosh. How did you survive?
Well, I barely did because Mac just didn't require a lot of sleep, but he still doesn't to this day. Now, Connor, I was constantly checking to make sure he was still alive. Because Connor, you had to wake up to feed. But Mac, for over 3 years, he'd be like,
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And Jack's the same way. And but it'll be so funny. And I'm watching him on that monitor. Mac came home, and I'm like, he's up. And Mac's like, he's not going to go anywhere because that light's red. That thing that's the sound machine's red. And I said, really? And he's like, yeah, it's red. Stop, stay, right there. So then he's like, watch this. He picked up his phone, turn it green.
Oh, my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I was like, What just
Wow,
happened?
I didn't know anything about any of that.
Well, I mean, if it was a bad day, that thing would be red all day long.
Yeah, sorry. Red all day.
That's why I told Mac, I said, you're lucky your mother didn't have that gadget when you were little. Otherwise, you'd still be in that bedroom.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So interesting. So many
Wow.
things for kids are different now.
Oh, I know.
There's so much.
Yes.
Yeah, so many different things.
And then a lot of it's technology stuff that.
Yeah, I can't.
Mhm.
I can't. And what's weird, so my phone's right here because I have my ads on my phone here sometimes because when I send the pictures to Ty, I can't see them there, so I have to read them off here. You give this phone to JoJo?
Mm-hmm.
She's true.
Yeah.
I
believe you.
Yeah, my messenger's doing something weird where like I have to like do something like put a pin in or something weird.
Yeah, I saw it was asking for setup.
I'm not sure how to do that, but I probably just should have handed it to one of them. They could have figured it out.
Yeah, they probably could have, especially once they start to read well. They'll just take right off on that. You won't need me anymore.
I know.
You'll have Jack and JoJo to do all your technology
I'm
stuff.
telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so just a fun day. You've got an interesting date. Your daughter's going to be.
I have had an interesting day. Do you want to hear about my day?
I do want to hear
so
about
far?
this day so far.
It's 8:30 in the morning right now as we're filming this, and I started off the day by getting up early and getting my hair done and my face, my makeup, everything for the show. And out the door, today is Carissa Faith's 15th birthday, so I went to Dairy Queen this morning, got everyone a Dairy Queen Coke, and she wanted a pretzel with nacho cheese.
Okay.
So my car currently doesn't have as many cup holders as my old car does, so
Right.
it's a little bit of a juggling act to bring home 4 Cokes, which I could have asked for a carrier, but I didn't because I have a way of doing it. So I had all these Cokes. Well, about halfway between my house and the Dairy Queen, I realized one of the lids was not on the Coke very good. And no, it's not the Dairy Queen's fault.
Yeah,
I mean,
it just happened.
It
They can be
happens.
bugged,
I'm not
easy
blaming.
breezy,
I'm
yeah.
not blaming them. And so it was actually like spilling everywhere. So there was no other cars on the road. I was on a side street and I slowed down and I kind of picked it up and like tried to tap the lid down. And in the meantime, I spilled a little bit of the Coke down my outfit that I had to wear to the show today to film in. So that was annoying. But I pulled in my driveway and this Coke was still spilling out over the top and the lid still wasn't going on right. And so I picked it up. And I don't even know what happened, but it's the entire 32-ounce Coke spilled into my floorboard of my car. And I just immediately, and it was one of those things, it was like slow motion, and I was like, no! And then it spilled into the floorboard, which I have those really nice built-in floor mats that are real thick, like
that Rubbermaid stuff.
Rubbermaid that catch everything. So I'm in my driveway, and I'm like, what a mess. So I go ahead and carry in the other drinks, and then I just pop that floor mat out. And I managed not to get any on my pants. And I popped that floor mat out, and I just dumped it onto the driveway. And then I kicked it out of the way, because that's what you do when you're aggravated.
Oh, yeah, you throw things.
I just kicked it out of the way. I'm like, I do not have time to mess with this floor mat right now. So I made it inside with 2 Cokes. So that meant the child that was still sleeping, that was going to college later, that would be Malia. She didn't get a Dairy Queen Coke. If she wants one, she can go buy one herself.
That's right.
I didn't have time to go back.
Right.
I didn't have time to go back. But so then I go inside, give everyone their drinks, and Silas takes my phone from me to check. He likes to check through my memories from years past or whatever on Time Hop. So he's apparently looking at that. We're all in a rush to get out the door to get everyone to school and get me to the show. And lo and behold, I would guess that my phone is still on the couch where Silas was sitting. So
you don't have your phone?
I don't have my phone
today.
that's
not good for you.
And I feel
that is not good for you.
Very lost
because
I have a really cool story to tell you guys today about an officer that was killed on duty in Clay County. And the end of that story is on my phone. So I'm going to try to go by memory.
Oh, my God.
But here's the thing.
I would have to just give it up.
I always print, all of my notes, anything that I get on my phone that I save, I print it out, and then I bring it in here, and I have it printed. Today is the first and only day that I have not printed anything because my printer is out of ink. And so I thought I'll just use my phone on air. Stacey uses her phone on air. I will just zoom in on my article, and I will read it. And then this is what happens to me. So
That's
lesson
crazy.
learned. Go buy printer ink and keep printing my articles.
I need a nice printer like you. I need to come over and print some stuff off too.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I don't know how to use my printer. Mine's just one of them little cheapy thingies.
Oh.
And the other thing about my printer, I have to ask Jim Earlywine to do it because I'm an idiot and don't do anything technology or mechanical whatsoever. And so I have to ask him, and then I get.
Maybe I can come over and like teach you how to use it real easy.
Yeah.
So you can I don't know. Anyway, I feel like I've had one of those mornings.
Well, it sounds like
it's not even Monday. It's
not. It's
a
not
Tuesday.
Monday. It's Tuesday. Okay, so this ad is
ad is fantastic.
This ad is fantastic. And once again, I'm using my phone, so let's show it. Okay, do you know how to kiss a girl? Then learn. Stand facing her. Do not tell her your intentions. Do not ask permission to kiss her. Look dreamily into her eyes. You may hold her right hand in your right hand if you wish. It is well to sigh a couple of times about this stage of the game. Whisper softly that her rosebud lips remind you of Cupid's bow. She will probably drop her eyes and blush when you say that. Place the fingers of your left hand under her chin and tilt back her head lightly. Slightly. Draw her gently towards you. Do not hurry. Gaze deeply at the love lights which slumber in her eyes. Sigh once more. Incline your head towards hers until your lips. But wait. Do not kiss her until you know that she uses Lister-rated Pepsin gum, the only antiseptic gum in the world, the only chewing gum that makes it safe to kiss. If she is a Lister-rated Pepsin gum girl, then kiss her.
Gosh, 1916.
Is that not the greatest thing?
Yes, that's fantastic. That was sent in to us by Franny Tolliver, and that is a find, I'll tell you.
I think I'm not even going to get rid of this one on my. This might be one of those printable ads to have.
Yes, you know.
I think I'm going
to have that printed nicely and frame it.
I think I'm going to, but that's so funny. I love that. Incline your head toward hers until your lips. But wait. Then you go into do not kiss her until you know that she uses Lister-rated Pepsi gum.
That is awesome.
That's the best ad.
And the illustrations.
Oh, look at him. Look at him. So funny.
She's in her bonnet. He almost looks like a policeman or
well,
something.
you know, for a second I thought he is a policeman or a postman.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
He's in uniform.
He's in uniform.
Maybe it's 1916. Maybe he's World War I.
He could be. Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
But the thing, what's this? What's the one that I'm just thinking? Look through, you know, where's the one that says kiss her whether she wants it or not? Do not tell her. Do not ask permission.
Yeah, to kiss her. Do not ask permission to kiss her. Do not tell her your intentions. Just look dreamily into her eyes.
That's the greatest ad. And speaking of ads, we're going to take our first commercial break. We'll be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Give me a little lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh, yeah. Give me all your guns, too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We have an interesting show planned today.
Yeah, we just find these really interesting tragedy stories. And,
Yeah.
we don't always just want to focus on tragedy, but they're very interesting.
Right. And I think it's important to remember sometimes that, things like this have happened here in Clay County.
I think so, too.
Honor the memory of the people affected. So,
Do you want to take off first?
Sure. I'm going to talk to you today about George Tolliver. George was a county marshal in 1969, and he was murdered at the North Clay High School.
See, now I had never, till you brought I had never heard this story, so I'm learning a little bit
So
today
I'm a North Clay
myself.
graduate, and I can remember when I was in school, people talking about it still. I wasn't raised at Louisville, and I didn't know much about the story, but I did know that there was an officer that had been killed on the grounds. So George Tolliver, he had served in World War II, and I think he flew aircraft. Says he was with the Battery B 548th Anti-Aircraft. But I have a picture of him. Let's show that. Ty, if you want to show that while I kind of get the story started so we can kind of see what we're looking at. This is when he was 21 years old.
Wow.
In the service in World War II. But he was a well-loved guy. He was a bus driver for North Clay. And then he was also this county marshal.
Now, what's a county is a county marshal like one of our deputies, or
Well,
what is that?
I was actually going to talk about that maybe and call somebody at the sheriff's department, but I didn't get that done. Thank you, Ty. I think that it was sort of like a deputy.
Okay.
But I don't think that they called them deputies, all of them. I think there was the sheriff, and then he had marshals maybe.
What year was this?
So it was 1969. And
69.
It happened on October the 19th, 1969. This Prairie Echo book is it has a lot of local history in it. But I will say that I don't know who wrote it. It's published by the Flora Kiwanis Club and the Clay County Regulators. I'm sure they meant well, and I hate to say anything negative about it, but they did not proofread it well. There are a lot of mistakes in it. And I'm not just talking spelling and grammar. This story of George Tolliver, they said happened October 19th, 1967. The whole story refers to 1967. It was, in fact, 1969. I went through lots of newspapers. All the newspapers were, thanks to John Baylor, he sent me lots of information. It was all dated 1969. So just, if you are looking up stuff, try to find more than one source because you can't always depend on the one source. So that's my little talk for today. Okay.
That's your go-to for today.
So what happened was that George was on duty the evening of October the 19th. It was a Sunday evening. It was a quiet fall evening. And if you know anything about the history of Louisville at the end of October, you know that it was Fall Festival time.
Oh, yeah.
That is a big, it was about a week before Fall Festival. And that is when the parades start happening. People start toilet papering. Teenagers start doing Halloween pranks. Okay, so there was a rumor going around town that there was going to be a lot of pranking that night.
Okay.
And George had a son that was in around the high school age, I believe. And his name was Ray. Okay, and they had also heard the rumor. The dad, George, had heard the rumor about the pranks, and so he and a friend of his were just out driving around in the squad car.
Okay.
Okay, so they had the squad car, and they went all through Louisville, toured it around, went out down Kim Mundy Road and like through Iola. I think they made a big circle, and they came back to Louisville, and he dropped his friend off, and he started to head home, but he thought, I forgot to check the high school to make sure there's no prankers there, because the story was there was going to be some prankers at the high school. So he was looking for vandalism or pranks, but there had also been some burglaries lately in the county around that time. And George was actually at that time working 7 days and nights a week. So he was driving the bus, and then he was helping the police because they were doing extra patrols because of the burglaries. So let's see. He drove through the downtown, like through the square. That there was a lot of young people down on the square. His son was one of them. It was after 11 p.m. at this time, and he went back to that high school for one more trip around the parking lot, and he found that somebody had been there and that they were breaking in at the time. There was a window, I believe, that was broken, and then let's see. They had broken into the office. They were attempting to break open the safe. They had broken.
Oh my!
They had broken in. Yeah, this was more than teenagers.
Yeah, this sounds
wasn't
like
teenagers.
a professional.
Yeah, they had broken
But
into.
why would you break into a high school? Do they have money at the high schools?
I wouldn't have thought that would have been your go-to, but
Me either.
there was a Coke machine, a pencil machine, and paper machines that had been broken open. John Baylor mentioned to me that there was some money that was left out from I think he said a basketball game or something that was near the safe, but apparently they overlooked it. They could have taken that whole pile. It was, I don't remember what
That's
exactly
weird.
John said about that, but they had
Excuse
went
me.
into the restrooms and broken open the vending machines there. The window glasses and exterior lights had been shot out. So any of the parking lot lights they shot out so it would be dark. One of the burglars was standing at the front door of the school hidden in the shadows, and he was the lookout. And apparently he saw George approaching the school building in a squad car, and he alerted his companion and ran to the back of the gymnasium where they apparently hid in the darkened stairwell. And then Officer Tolliver stopped his patrol car at the rear door of the gym. And about 11:30 p.m., several neighbors heard reports that sounded like 5 pistol shots. But then this is the really sad part. So George's son, Ray, and his friend who had been out on the town square and just hanging out, they decided to go to the high school to see if the rumored Halloweening pranks had taken place. Like, hey, let's run over to the high school and see what happened. Like, did anyone go do any of the pranks they said they were going to go do? And he pulled in and swung around onto the west side of the school at the north entrance. That's the rear of the gymnasium. And their headlights hit Tolliver's patrol car parked over by the entrance to the south end of the school near what used to be the cafeteria. Now I think it's the library. But as they continued on, they saw a police cap lying in the driveway, and then a few feet away was the body of Ray's father, George Tolliver. They had shot him 5 times in his head and his shoulders.
Oh my goodness!
He was 43 years old.
Wow.
He left behind his wife Irma and 2 sons, George Ray and Richard Van. George and Richard have both passed away now, is what I was told. I'm sure Irma has as well. So, it's a super sad story. So, I don't think he probably even knew what really hit him.
No.
He just saw some broken glass and was like, what's going on? And the next thing you know, they shot him 5 times. And then they got away. So then there was this big investigation into, like, what even happened, The other police came, the coroner. They kind of went through the building, and they figured out everything had been robbed. And this was right after this, the state of Illinois started and this is all the part that's on my phone that I don't have today. They started a commission or for fallen police officers and firefighters, I think. And George Tolliver was the first one in the state of Illinois to receive that money, his family.
Wow.
So they sent his wife $10,000. That was the first family to get some of that money.
Yeah,
which I think that thing is
69. That's
yeah.
That is the.
It is super sad. So who did it? What happened? Well, they were investigating it for a while, but apparently these 2 men, and I don't have their names in front of me, but I want to say one of them was Gatsby. I want to say Gatsby or Gatsby or something. I might be able to find it. Ty might be able to find it for me on the computer while we're at break. But he apparently these two men messed up in Elizabethtown, Illinois, down in Hardin County, and they also got arrested for burglary there. And I think they might have done something else down there. Anyway, they got arrested and they got sentenced to like 3 to 5 years. But in the meantime, they fessed up to a few other burglaries, not the one at Louisville, but they went to their house. These two men were from Effingham, and they went and they searched their house, and they found things that led them to believe that they were at North Clay High School.
Really?
Yes. Oh, I know. When they were in Hardin County, whatever they got, this burglar or whatever, one of them was shot and killed. So one of them did not go to trial because he was dead. Was there just two of them? There was just two. So one dead, okay? So then that left the one that I was trying to say his name, but I can't remember it. And anyway, he did go to trial, but he was found, he pled not guilty, and he was found not guilty simply because there was not enough evidence.
Oh, my.
That, you know, the Clay County State's Attorney, Carol Baylor, he felt horrible about it. Like, he did his very best to get this guy sent off for more years than what he'd already been for the other thing that he'd done in Hardin
So they
County.
actually tried him for the Louisville incident, for the killing?
Yes.
And there just wasn't any evidence?
They couldn't prove it without a shadow of a doubt.
Right. Well,
and and I think he said that he didn't, he kind of blamed it on the dead guy, I think, is what John said.
Yeah.
And
which is what you do, I guess.
Well, right. So anyway, he did not get convicted of that one. But there was about 8 or 9 people, I think, from Louisville that went and testified at the trial or the grand jury or whatever and submitted evidence. And
it makes you wonder, from the time that they shot the marshal, did they immediately flee? Because can you imagine had them young boys drove up and it just...
Oh, gosh.
I mean, I was going to say, it probably wasn't a whole lot of time in between.
Probably not. I think one of the neighbors...
and one of the those boys shown up?
Oh, yeah. And one of the news articles I read, it talked about how one of the neighbors heard the 5 gunshots, decided that that wasn't really gunshots. It had to have been something else.
Firecrackers.
But yeah.
You're not expecting gunshots at the high school.
Because then right after that, they heard like somebody squealing tires and like going really fast. And they thought, again, high school prankers. They did something stupid, let off firecrackers at the high school or whatever, and then they took off real fast. And they went, they went back to bed. They never thought for a second it was anything.
You're not going to.
Right. It's Louisville.
Yeah, why would you do that?
So
yeah, I guess that's the only blessing that those teenage boys didn't show up at the time it was all going down.
Oh, right.
Because I mean, these people are
they were crazy.
They were crazy, and that's just hard to even.
Yeah, and they surely didn't get away with that much money and to
that's
shoot a man over that.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, but there is a memorial at the North Clay High School that they put in, I think, just about a year or 2 ago. And they had a ceremony and everything and put up a little memorial back there behind I think it's back kind of by the old library.
Okay. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will come back and finish the story on the Marshall.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank. We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online bank, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be. Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
It's the weekend, and your symptoms are worsening. The morning of a big meeting, and you have a bigger sore throat. Ever experienced that urgency after picking up your sick child and your community health center has already closed? You will be able to connect to a provider at crhpc.org. Even if you have never been to CRHPC, you are welcome to utilize our services. Feel better after scheduling a video visit with CRHPC.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County, Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I was just talking about the murder of George Tolliver at the North Clay High School in Louisville in 1969, and basically that's, you know, I don't have any more information on the trial or anything with me, but nobody went to prison over it. So
What
definitely
a
a tragedy.
43 years old, you said.
Yep.
Now, George Tolliver, I wonder if that's the George, I mean, because there was a teacher George Tolliver. I wonder if that was his dad and was married to Teresa Tolliver, Teresa Warren. He married her. I wonder if that's it has to be that George Tolliver. There weren't too many of them.
Well, would the dates line up? I mean, this
guy
was born in 1924.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It absolutely would. I bet that was.
Okay.
He was. I think I'm almost positive. I feel like he was an educator in Flora. His wife. If that's who I'm thinking about, I'll have to find out. I'm sure somebody who's listening. John Baylor would probably.
Well,
know.
if I had my phone, I could look it up.
Yeah, John
I'm
Baylor.
so lost without it.
John Baylor would know. So yeah.
Yep.
Because he knows everything.
Yes, he knows
if
so much.
If we need something, who's our man? John Baylor
and
Don Thomas.
That's right. Yep. Those two
They're
guys.
our go-to guys. It's so funny when you're talking about John Baylor because, like, after a show, he'll be like, "Well, you should have called me. I mean, it seems like every time he comes into the shop, he's like, "You should have called me. I had it." I said, "Well, I thought I did pretty good, John."
What do you have for us?
Okay, so this is an article by Rena Lynch Thomas. This is a train wreck that killed 5 people in 1936 in Clay City.
Oh, wow. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story.
Okay.
The worst railroad accident in the history of this section of the country happened mid-morning, July 28th, 1936, when the B&O fast westbound freight train number 91 wrecked.
Okay.
It was going about 50 miles per hour and was thought to
50 or 15?
50.
Oh, okay.
No, them trains.
Yeah, I know. I thought you said 15 though, and I was like,
no,
okay.
50.
50 mile an hour through Clay City.
When you've got all that power.
Yeah.
It's more like Superman hitting you, probably. 50 miles per hour and was thought to have hit a loose switch less than a quarter of a mile east of the Clay City Depot, derailing the engine and 11 cars.
Wow.
So we're going east. So this train just left Flora and is on our train tracks right there, just a little bit east of Clay City.
Yeah.
Actually, just literally just a quarter mile east of Clay City. So once you go, like if you're going to Clay City, you go over the railroad tracks, you're heading north, like going to Sailor Springs, literally just a quarter of a mile. That's really right there with a lot of houses and stuff.
Yeah.
When the engine struck the switch, it jumped several feet into the air.
Oh my gosh.
And landed on its south side of the main track.
Okay.
Jeez, I can't even. Can you imagine if you're just? I can't even imagine.
Makes me think it was somebody's backyard too.
Oh, I think it was. Yeah, because like I said, you go. It's more than a quarter of a mile. It's probably around a quarter mile. Like when you go down, take that England Road, and you got that quarter of a mile before you get to the park and where Dusty's tires and that.
Yeah,
it's not very far down the road.
Mm-mm.
You're welcome, Dusty, for a plug for your tire business. I'll send you my bill later. The 11 cars piled up behind, bringing to attention the entire town of approximately 900 with its screeching rumble of grinding steel,
I bet,
which shook the grounds as though an earthquake had occurred.
Bet.
Wow. I can't even imagine what that. I was raised on South Locust Street, and it was always amazing to me how we could hear the trains.
Oh, yeah.
And there are certain times on a quiet night, even when we had trains go through. Even I live on Fair Avenue now, which is just a couple blocks south of where I was raised, and it's amazing on a night that's calm how you can always hear those trains go through.
I mean, we lived on West 4th for years, and it would be about 4 blocks, I guess, or 5 north of the tracks. But there were some nights where it felt like that train was going through our backyard. It was so loud and rumbly, and the house kind of shook. And
you don't think about it, but if you look at our train track, look at those houses there just on east and west North Avenue. There are houses literally just bucked up. Their yards are bucked up right to that.
But you get used to the noise. It's comforting. I miss the sound of the trains.
I love the trains.
I do too. I miss them. I want them back.
I like the trains. Okay.
Go ahead, though. I wouldn't want one to jump up in the air behind me.
I miss the trains unless something like this was going to happen.
Yeah.
The coal tender landed almost on top of the engine and flat cars, loaded with pipes, car doors, wheels, and bearings were strewn all along both sides of the double track. The caboose, jarred loose by the impact, was thrown crosswise of the track.
Wow.
At least 300 feet of track were demolished, the huge rails being broken and twisted and the ties splintered. That's a serious amount of power when you're looking at that steel.
No kidding.
Those tracks.
Wowzers.
Did you ever do anything stupid? Like, I remember whenever we were younger, you'd take a penny and put it on the railroad track.
Oh, yeah.
I would kill my sons if they ever went near a train.
We just did that this summer. We were we were in Tennessee. We were in Tennessee, and in this cute little town, and there's this cafe that we go to, and it's called Bell Buckle, Tennessee, and the tracks go right through it. It kind of has a feel like Whistle Stop Cafe. It kind of feels like that, but you're in Tennessee instead of Georgia. And Silas was there, and he was like, watching, and we're like, yeah, go put some pennies on the track, and we'll try to find them. Then him and Jason went out there and put a whole bunch down, and then train came through, and then they went back over there and tried to find them. They got some.
Oh, I've got smashed pennies from my yeah. But at least he was with his dad.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we didn't. My parents. Oh my gosh, sorry, Mom and Dad in heaven, but they would have killed us.
Yeah, no, he was with his dad. He was safe.
Well, my dad was a volunteer fireman. So there was just certain places you never chased an ambulance, you never chased a fire truck, and you never went near the railroad tracks because there were a couple suicides on the railroad track there right on South Main.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's another tragedy.
That's another tragedy we need to find. We could do a story
people don't think about that, and they cross those tracks every day right there.
Oh, right there on South Main. Yeah,
South Main.
He set facing west. That train was going east, and boom, bada bida. And my dad was called out to clean up. You know what I mean by clean up? Not a
because
good thing.
he was on the fire department?
Yeah, he was a volunteer fireman. Yeah, there was a lot of
sadness.
It was. So he was adamant about you stay away from that stuff. And the reservoir. He never let us go to the reservoir by ourselves. And that's one thing I never did do. Okay. A crowd of people estimated at 5,000 from near and far was attracted to Clay City to view the horrendous pile of twisted steel. One member of the train crew, Wayne F. Caldwell, head brakeman from Washington, Indiana, was found scalded to death.
Oh, my gosh.
After the smoke and steam was cleared away. Another crew member, Robert May, a student fireman, also died later at the Flora Hospital.
How sad.
It is terribly sad. Other members of the crew who escaped without serious injury were Luther McCool, engineer, Charles Potts, fireman, E.R. Wright, conductor, and C.N. Condrey, the flagman. The other 3 killed were transients. One, an unidentified 60-year-old whose body was a mass of mangled flesh when found beneath the wheels. Gosh. Yeah, so transients are...
Hobos.
3
hobos.
Yeah. The other 2 because they would have been in the cars that probably. No. The other 2 transients killed were Fletcher Leon Harold of Newport, Virginia, which it's amazing that they knew who they were.
Yeah, they have ID on them or what?
Apparently. One's just unidentified, so he didn't. But the other one was from Newport, Virginia.
Oh, one was unidentified?
Yeah, this 60-year-old, the 3 transients, one an unidentified 60-year-old.
I just read something the other day when I was going through papers about an unidentified hobo that's buried in Clay City.
I bet that's him.
I bet it is.
It would have to be, yeah. An unidentified.
Clay City Cemetery.
Well, do you have any idea what does it say on the tombstone?
I forgot.
We need to write
planning
that.
on talking about it. I'll try to find it. I think I ran across it at Don Thomas's house, so maybe he can be looking.
Yeah, I bet that was this unidentified 60-year-old. That would be because we are going to go do some more cemetery touring.
It's warming up.
Are we the only weirdos that like to do cemetery touring?
I think there's more of us out there.
You think there's more weird? You think there's more weirdos in the world? Goodness, yeah. So I bet you're right. I bet that's who that is. La la la. Okay, so Fletcher Leon Harold from Newport, Virginia, who was carried from the scene alive, and but then soon afterwards passed.
Ugh.
And L.H. McNeil.
That's almost worse than like dying immediately because they suffered. They were suffering.
Yeah, absolutely. And then L.H. McNeil, a black man from Alabama, who died on his way to the Flora Hospital. So you had one, his body was found, one lived for a little bit, then died, and then the other one died on the way to the hospital. How terrible.
Yes.
Goodness sakes. And I wonder if these gentlemen were buried here since they were transients, since they were hobos.
I don't know.
I wonder if they sent them back to their
town. I don't know.
The bodies of Caldwell, May, and McNeil were taken to the funeral home in Flora until arrangements were made. Okay, there we go. If I would have remembered, I'd tell you what, I have the more ADD, ADHD, the older I get. I used to be able to retain stuff. I just can't anymore.
Well,
I've only read this article like 3 times, 3 or 4 times. You
that's
think
okay.
I remember.
We forgive you. I'm the same way. And I even reviewed my notes late last night and early this morning on how that story ended with the trial on George Tolliver and the men's names. But I really was planning on having it all with me. But now I'm here and I'm like, what were those guys' names? I can't remember.
Names, forget it. Forget it.
Craziness.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway. I don't know what's wrong with me, but yeah, I literally just there it is.
That's okay.
Okay, so literally, what I just said, that the Fletcher and the L.H. McNeil, they were taken to the funeral home in Flora until arrangements were made and burial in their respective towns.
Okay,
cool beans. At least one, here we go. One, the unidentified man was buried at Clay City Cemetery in an unmarked grave.
Yes, that's it. Unmarked grave.
The unmarked grave. But is there a headstone there?
No, because if there were, it would be marked.
I know, but how do we know? How are we going to know where it's at? Is it one of just them little plaque thingies?
I don't know.
Well, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back to this. We're going to talk a little bit.
We should raise money and put him in a marker.
Let's do that.
Poor guy.
We'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Pegel's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Pegel Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
The insurance specialists have options to tailor to your needs at CSI Insurance Brokers. Experienced insurance brokers at CSI are skilled with all types of insurance plans and policies and represent many companies, including Safeco Insurance. You'll benefit from their detailed expertise, unbeatable premiums, and commitment to customer service. CSI Insurance Brokers and Safeco Insurance Company, providing affordable rates on quality insurance since 1952.
For over 50 years, at your locally owned and operated Royal King Supply in Salem and Olney, we've helped you and your neighbors enjoy an easy country lifestyle. We carry the most thorough sporting goods department around with a huge variety of hunting and fishing gear, camping equipment, and a variety of firearms for any need. Our team is here to help you find whatever you need. Open every day, it's Royal King in Salem and Olney, your locally owned farm and home store.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and we are finishing this 1936 Clay City train wreck that killed 5 people. 3 of those were transients, a.k.a. hobos. 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 Why do we quit calling them hobos?
I don't know. It's probably offensive.
It probably is. I love the word
We don't
hobo.
mean it if anything offensively by that. If it is, I mean, it's just what people refer to them as.
Yeah, I don't know. I like hobo better than like transients.
Yeah.
Transient sounds like an
alien
or something. Okay, so here's a little bit more information. Okay, so we just said that the unidentified man was buried in Clay City Cemetery in an unmarked grave. Here's an interesting. The body of the third transient, Harold, and that would be Fletcher Leon Harold, was held at the Easley Funeral Home, which I'm not sure what the Easley Funeral Home was back in 36, until the directions of the family were received. And it is not known if he is buried in Clay City Cemetery or back in his hometown. So we don't know if Fletcher Harold was buried, if his family took him back or not.
Wow.
So that could be an interesting little story. Coroner D.C. Burrow held an inquest with the verdict, and the verdict of the death was train wreck. Well, okay.
Okay.
That would be a pretty easy jury to be sitting on.
Right.
The verdict on the death of the unidentified man was death due to skull fracture. Okay. Not fun.
No.
It was not uncommon at this time in our history for transits to hop freight trains for a free ride to their desired destination. So it was not surprising that there were several other transients in back cars in addition to those killed.
So there was more hobos on the train,
but they lived. Most escaped serious injuries, and some of those with minor injuries were taken in to various homes in Clay City.
That's nice.
That was nice. A tragic accident that cost the lives of 5 men. But in this small town, the forefront with their mutual aid and concern for their fellow man. So Clay City really stepped up.
Good.
So, yeah, I mean, because like you've got all these transients, hobos, and people in Clay City took them into their homes, which is good job, Clay City. That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, their mutual aid and concern for their fellow man. Yeah, that's...
How sad. 1936, huh?
1936, yeah. You know, so it makes you, but I don't know about that one. I'm going to mark this now. Beth and I have just decided that we've been doing this now for over a year, and we can't decide what stories we've done or not. So I'm going to put a little done.
Yeah.
And the ones I have on my phone, I just erase, which I probably shouldn't do that if I had a printer or knew how to use one.
Right.
Okay, now this is another interesting story I found, which it's about Sug Bright, S-U-G, Sug Bright, a Xenia native.
Do you think? I mean, it might be Sug, or could it be Shug, like sugar?
Shug,
and they shortened it to Shug.
Bright. Shug
I don't
Bright.
know.
Yeah, Sug, Shug.
I don't know.
He's a Xenia native, and he's a drowning victim.
Oh, man, that'd be a rough way to go.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go.
What happened? Was he in the reservoir?
Well, I don't know. We're going to find out. The body of a Xenia native, Basil Laverne Sug Bright, or Shug Bright. I love his name, Basil.
Basil, yeah.
Basil. I don't know if that's Sug or Shug. About 30. He's only 38 years old. Who apparently drowned, and I'm reading this article from back in the day. Did she put when it was? I'm not sure. Who apparently drowned Friday night near Wooster, Ohio, when a dam broke and flooded the area in which he was working.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Relatives that it was like the family back in Xenia had been informed about it. According to reports, Bright, who is employed in Rooster by Dowell. Okay, so let's just go back. So this gentleman, Basil Laverne Bright, 38 years old, from Xenia, is working in Wooster, Ohio.
For Dowell.
For Dowell.
Had a big base here in Flora.
Yes. And the dam broke and flooded the area where he was working.
Ugh.
Had gone to the Dowell station to assist in removing company equipment from the area flooded by the heavy rains. So he went in to actually help. The high waters became so threatening that police brought in boats to remove the people from the area. The boat Bright was in capsized.
Oh my gosh.
His body was not found until Saturday, 2 miles from the Dowell station.
Oh my gosh.
It was reported that he suffered a head injury, which might have been the cause of drowning. Complete details concerning the tragedy have not yet been learned. Okay. Shug, as he was better known in the Flora and Xenia areas, was the son of Basil Bright of Xenia, the brother of Lenny Bright of Flora. His wife is the former Barbara Freukes, Freukes, of Xenia. They had one daughter. Her name is Marcia, and she was 12 at the time. The Frank Branson Funeral Home in Flora was in charge of the.
What year was this?
It doesn't say a year. I just found this in a newspaper article. Yeah, it's one of those weird newspaper articles I found. Frank Branson Funeral Home. So Frank and Bright apparently was Frank Branson prior.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it was any relation to the Brights that went on to own the funeral home. Another Flora man, James Graham, who was working with Bright, is reported safe. Isn't that something? That's so sad.
Yeah, I don't know what year that would have been. Ty, can you look that up? It doesn't. Well, if it was, yeah, it's like it was the funerals held at Frank and Branson.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it wasn't as far back as.
Look up the.
I think it might be.
If you can, look up the Basil Laverne Bright, 38 years old, and we'll see what year this happened.
I'm betting it was the 60s or 70s.
I'm gonna say it's the 70s.
Yeah. So his daughter Marcia might still be alive.
Right.
Then. Yeah.
What year do we got?
1969.
69.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Huh.
How sad.
That is. Interesting stories.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's one that just happens to be down here. Xenia woman run over by farm tractor.
Oh, my.
And I haven't read this, so bear with me. Mary W. Lawson, Route 2 Xenia, was injured. And once again, I'm reading this from a newspaper article this morning, Wednesday, when she fell off a tractor and was run over by it in an accident north of Xenia. She was rushed to Clay County Hospital by the Clay County Ambulance Service and was admitted. She is suffering from fractured ribs and a fractured collarbone in addition to numerous bruises. Reports from the scene say that she was riding the tractor through a ditch area and fell from it, and the tractor proceeded to cross her body.
Oh my
Her
gosh.
husband, Fred, working nearby, went to call for help.
So I say to hope somebody saw it. I mean, somebody
Right.
got her an ambulance. So.
2 passersby stopped their car and went to help her.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, but they always say, like, if you're mowing a steep ditch or something, it's easy to flip those.
Oh yeah, well,
I mean, I don't know what kind of tractor she was on.
Honestly,
but
I mean, that's what happened to that's what happened to Claire Land. My mother was married to Claire Land for 9 years, and he was killed in a tractor accident. And he was mowing something, and he hit I guess there was a stump there of a tree that had broke, or whatever it was grown up, and he hit that, and it turned it over and killed him. Yeah, my mother's second husband was killed in a tractor accident.
Oh my gosh!
It's farming is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe even just mowing.
Mowing.
That's why I don't mow.
You know
I might
what?
die.
If you think that's why, yeah, right. Yeah. Well, if you think about all the accidents that have happened with people just mowing. And
oh yeah,
when my dad mowed the yard, he was adamant about the girls, his daughters, we had to stay inside.
Oh.
He would not let us outside if we were mowing, because apparently when he was when he was young, one of his somebody was mowing a yard and their dad ran over a big rock, and it flung and hit that kid and hit him in the head and killed him.
Oh my gosh, that's tragic. Was that in Florida too?
I'm assuming, because my dad's always been from Florida. Yeah, so my dad was like, if my dad even he was like, girls in the house and stay. He would never let us outside. And because my dad told me that story, if Jim's out mowing, I'm like, I like stay away, because you never know what you're going to hit.
Oh, right.
If you think about it.
My grandma one time was mowing and she hit some kind of like metal washer or something. It was sort of a horseshoe shape, but it was like that big.
Oh, man.
And it hit her in the leg. And I know, I don't know if she had to have stitches or what. I don't really remember that part, but I remember for years and years that shape was always on her leg. Like it scarred her so bad it had that horseshoe shape on her leg from that mowing thing.
Yeah, because like I said, you hit little rocks, you hit that, anything. I mean, it shoots that thing out there. Mm-hmm. And I mean, then there's been so many accidents. I mean, that one young boy, I can't remember what his name is, but he was somebody ran over him, and he lost his leg, part of his leg, and he went to school with one of my boys. Why is that name escaping me right now? I know him. I can close my eyes and see his little face. He played baseball with Mac. He's Mac's age. And I mean, just so many tragedies with that. That's one thing I'm just not a real big fan when I see people like on riding lawnmowers with children sitting on their laps. Kind of freaks me out a little. But I'm
yeah.
And honestly, my more freaking out stages has happened more now that I have grandchildren than I
believe it was a pain. Was it a pain boy that happened?
Yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, so I'm just like, I don't know. Cody Payne, you're right, yeah.
Distantly related.
You are? Oh, I didn't know that. Good kid, real good kid. Yeah, he went to school with Mac, I believe. Mac, well, I'm pretty sure it was Mac. But yeah, I've never let him stop him. But yeah, just so many different tragedies.
Yeah.
Accidents with that.
For sure.
Okay, I picked a quote. When I order my supplies for my hair salon, I order them from a place called Professional Salon Concepts in Joliet. And every time you order a box of supplies, they send you a little packet of M&Ms. You've seen them. And then attached to those M&Ms are little quotes.
Oh, really?
From people, yeah. Yeah, they're very big into inspirational quotes.
Okay.
So
bring it on.
Bring it on. This one is from Maya Angelou.
Okay.
I like this one, too. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yep, do better.
Do better. Do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, do better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good
I like
advice.
Have you ever read any of her stuff?
A little bit, yeah, years ago.
Now, is she a
poet laureate or whatever?
Yeah, is that what that's called?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But yeah, I didn't know if she actually.
She's one of those women that I don't know. She wrote a lot of poetry, I think, but she's like one of those women that anytime she opens her mouth, it's just like wisdom, just.
And her voice.
She's got
she's got that
like she could read an audiobook to you and you'd be like, this is
mesmerized.
So peaceful. Yeah.
Yeah, she would. She's still living, isn't she?
I do not know.
I don't know if Maya Angelou's still living or not, but yeah, I know. I didn't even really know who she was. I'm not a big reader, and I'm definitely not a poet by any means. But yeah,
she used to be on Oprah
all the time.
Yeah, that's how I figured out.
Yeah,
more
that's
about
how
her.
Oprah would bring her on, and I don't watch Oprah anymore. But
I don't either. But back in the day, I did.
Back in the day, I did.
Yep. So anyway, that's it for today. But thank you so much for joining us. As always, we are on Channel 100, Catch TV, 11 a.m. daily. Our new episodes air on Thursdays and Fridays, but you can always catch us on YouTube too. So if you miss an episode, find us on our YouTube page, by the way, with Beth and Stacey. And you can like and follow us on Facebook too. So we will catch you next time.
God bless you and have a great day.